Hello. Hi, Cassie. Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
Welcome to FirstGlance Film Festival. We are not on the red carpet.
Thank you so much.
But we can just imagine we are.
No, we are not.
Hi, so we are going to be talking about your film, Borne Bottled, which I watched yesterday. You guys, it was so awesome. I have so many questions. First of all, Cassie, you acted in the movie. For people who are watching who haven't yet seen the movie, Cassie is the lead and almost only actress.
Yeah.
It was so beautifully acted, Cassie. I was like completely engrossed. It was wonderful. It was so nice. But I had a question for you because I know other than acting, you also, did you write it or co-wrote it?
Yeah.
And also co-directed with Jessica. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, so my question to you is because, I mean, it's really emotional material. So as an actress who's basically doing a monologue, like how was that to jump in and out of the monologue to, you know, as an actress to get in and out of that, but also to co-direct it and then get back into it? Like, as an actor, I'm like, whoa, because I have to be like,
are you an actor as well?
The whole time? But you know, you can't have that luxury when you have other jobs to do. So how was that experience for you?
Yeah, I think that is my sound okay, by the way?
Yes, I think so. I can hear you.
My headphones disconnected for some reason, but hopefully we're still good. I was gonna say though, I think that the pandemic helped in that aspect because there was literally nothing else going on, so it was pretty easy to tap in. And I think that like Jessica and I discussed it beforehand, and it was hard. I mean, we were trying to tape ourselves because we couldn't interact. We discussed a lot about the narrative structure and how we wanted to make it a story, even though it was essentially a monologue. So yeah, but as far as acting goes, I listened to a lot of music right before, like I had the luxury of time.
Yeah.
In all honesty, because it was just me in my apartment by myself. So I had time to listen to music that made me feel really connected and sad and kind of get in that emotional space. And then, you know, really maneuver those pillows and that blanket on my table to make it look like a person.
And then in terms of like having to, so Jessica, how did that work with co-directing?
Yeah, it was actually a really interesting process. The way that we did everything was done remotely. Like we never saw each other throughout the entire course of working on this project. So it was getting files from Cassie, trying to figure out how we were going to kind of storyboard it from what we already had and work in stuff that we had to pick up. I actually have a bit roll on the hand that opens and closes a door.
Yes. Very important.
I'm sorry, I didn't recognize that. I should have like.
That's okay.
Kudos to the hand acting as well.
Thank you. So then like us just coming up with a plan together and working with what we had and trying to make something beautiful and emotional in a time that we couldn't be physically in the same space. So
when did you record yourself, Cassie, without Jessica sort of online and then send her what you recorded?
Yes.
And I wasn't sure how that worked logistically.
Yeah, I talked to her in between takes and in between shooting things to like figure out what we wanted and sent her, you know, just low res videos of like what I had gotten to see what she thought and how, you know, what we should do next. And then we also got a ton of like extra footage to make those like heartbeats of the film where it's like the different, to kind of convey the passage of time and the like procrastination of having to address this big moment in your life. So yeah, so we kind of discussed that in between takes.
So what did you shoot it on?
My iPhone.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say was your iPhone, not because it looked like it was shot on an iPhone, but like just the way that you said, the process went. I was like, well, there's no crew, I don't think, and
Yeah, no, it was just
like, like, what is she shooting on? That's amazing. So this project, I think, out of all the films I've watched so far, is the only project that was, I guess, conceived, shot, and produced entirely during the pandemic.
oh, really? Cool.
So far, yeah. I've had ones that sort of began during and then sort of had to be cut short because the pandemic started, but yours so far is the only one that was born in COVID. So it's a real novelty. I'm fascinated to know just the journey of this. So was it an idea that you had before, pre-COVID, and then was like, now's the perfect time to do it? Or yeah, how did it evolve?
Yeah,
It was a project
well,
that we had
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, just
it was a project that we kind of started working on, I think back in 2018. Just kind of like playing around, seeing what we could do with our cameras and the kind of stuff that we wanted to be filming for ourselves. And then, life kind of happened and we put it on the back burner. And then, lockdown happened and Cassie was like, hey, why don't we finish this thing? We've already started it. We've already had this idea of who this person is and what this relationship is. And now we have a time to kind of innovate and figure it out and make this puzzle and do all of those little things that we've never actually done before.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm still like, I can't believe you shot on an iPhone. I want to know what iPhone you have.
Oh, I think it was.
You got a 12?
I have a 12 now, but I think it was an iPhone 11 because we shot it in August or July.
God, my self-tapes never look that good, and I always do them on my 11. So
it's so funny. I just had a friend reach out to me about that, because I posted something on Instagram, and he's like, "Hey, what are you using to tape? It looks," and I was like, "My phone." And so I don't know.
And so, did you shoot that? Where did you shoot that? Was it because it looked like a hospital?
Yeah. So I really worked with Jessica a lot on that. I shot it in my apartment in Chicago, but I have a view of downtown, and then I have a shade that goes down that is kind of translucent. So kind of you get the city view, and then I made everything as white as possible with an off-white blanket, and then my kitchen table coincidentally has chairs that look sort of like they could theoretically be.
Honestly, my first thought was like, how did they get permission to shoot in a hospital? It was my first thought. During a pandemic. I was yeah, it just the quality was so professional. I could have been at the movies. I could have been in a movie theater watching this film.
That's so nice. I was just gonna say too, though, I was thinking a lot during the pandemic about how people were not able to visit their relatives in the hospital, and how that's really a privilege that we have all taken for granted for a long time. And so it wasn't at all what inspired it, because we started it a while ago, but I was just thinking how it's something that is now weird. We can't go visit our family in the hospital.
Yeah,
anymore.
for sure.
You can't have those conversations unless you're
well, at the beginning, I wasn't sure if it was going to go in the direction, whether it was going to be more closely related to what was happening in the world. I didn't know where it was going to go. It was my first assumption, and I was like, no, hold on a minute, let's see where it's going to go. And it didn't, which was great. It was a nice. That's not very nice. It was a interesting turn, and I love that. It was great. So you guys are both actresses.
Yes.
And is this your first sort of tiptoe into filmmaking on the other side of the camera, or had you written, directed, or produced anything before?
I did a web series called Bimbo. It was sort of like my friend that I met when I was I did the conservatory at Second City. And she and I did sort of we did a lot of parodies and a lot of just shorts for YouTube or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we called it Bimbo because we wanted to retake ownership of that word. And also apparently the word bimbo meant a really brawny big man in the 1920s. And then it really evolved over time, which I thought was interesting.
That's a fun fact. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but so that was all just pure comedy. So that was kind of my first foray into creating, you know,
Yeah.
in the visual space. But Jessica, I think have you directed? I can't remember if you've directed before.
Yeah, I kind of started like dipping my toe into directing like right about the time that lockdown started happening. So I had like some things lined up, and I was like, well, I guess that's on hold for now. But then this fell back on us, and here we are now.
And what would you say was being sort of relatively new to the production side? What do you think you learned from doing this project? Cassie, let's start with you.
Oof. I learned that Jessica is like a genius. I mean, she's probably the quickest learner I have ever met in my life. Like we were having issues finding an editor in order to submit to festivals on time, and then we were like, no, let's do this ourselves. And she literally figured out Adobe Premiere in like a day, and then we would just FaceTime and edit on Adobe Premiere. Well, she would edit, and I would be like, no, stop here, and do really annoying little like micromanagey things that she was really patient with. But yeah, like she is amazing. She can just anything in 2 hours. She's got it done, and she does that in every realm of life. Like she can like craft and design and paint, and like she's just very talented.
I love that. So you learned something new about your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And how about you, Jessica?
That was so nice, Kathy. I was just gonna say that like sound is really important.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I also learned a lot about working with friends. I think that's something that I'm like really coming to learn is so important. That like in the past year, I've done projects with people who I really care about and who I really love, and just the level of excitement and the level of things that I'm willing to tackle because I love the people that I'm working with is so much higher than when I'm working on other projects. You know, like when your heart is in something. Yeah, like I will climb that mountain. I'll learn Adobe in a day for Kathy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to know, like, I'm sure there are so many people that are like, I'd love to be able to like, especially actors now, because so many actors now are realizing that creating your own content is the way forward. So what advice would you give to people that have seen your movie, watching this interview, and they're like, really want to do something, don't know where to start? Like, what advice would you give that person? Jessica, let's start with you.
Yeah, I just say jump in and don't be afraid to fail at it. You know, that's one of my biggest shortcomings is that I want to do everything perfectly the first time, but you just have to like jump in and do it. And probably the first pass at it is not going to be great, but then the next one's better and the next one's better. So just trust yourself.
Love that. And Cassie?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think the same thing. I think the biggest things that I've learned that I wish I would have started doing right from the beginning are just don't wait around for anyone. Nobody's going to be casting you in the kind of material that you want to perform. So
that's true.
Yeah. So just so write what you want to play and experiment. And if it's bad, that's okay. You learn something. I've learned so much every time I've shot anything, every time I've worked on any project. I feel like I learn a ton. So I think that the important thing is just doing it and not being afraid, because you waste so much time just living in fear. So yeah.
I love that. Girls, you're so inspiring. I want to go and write my own movie right now.
You're inspiring. We're your last interview of the day, and you're like, so
you are. You're my last. But it's been such a delight. Thank you, girls, so much. Again, I really, really enjoyed your work. It was beautiful. And we at FirstGlance are so happy that you took the time out in these crazy world we're living in to come and speak to me tonight about your movie. So thank you. And I can't wait to see what you come up with next. If you can do that, in a pandemic, what are you going to do in the real world? Like,
we were just saying that we cannot wait to work on our next project. We've been.
I mean, I feel like you can do anything, right? If you can do that, you can do anything. The world is your oyster.
Absolutely.
That's so sweet. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Look, we're 37 seconds over, but I could keep talking. So I'm going to say goodbye.
Okay.
And once again, I would like to thank It's a Short. We're partnered with them, and they have made all these interviews with filmmakers like you possible.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, we're so honored to be a part of the festival. So thank you guys so much. Maybe we'll see you on the actual physical fluffy red carpet next year. Yes. Watch the space, everyone. I got a feeling these guys are going to be back. All right. Good night, guys.
Thanks so much. Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye.